I did want to do like a bit of admin before I start. After I left my house a few hours ago, it's become dangerously clear to me that I've turned up tonight like some sort of 6 foot tall like Spice Girl tribute act. And the really awkward thing about that is I am going to talk about the Spice Girls, so it just makes me look like some absolutely like freakish obsessive. I kind of look like if like Sporty Spice, Ginger Spice and Noel Fielding had been like merged together. So yeah, I'm Molly, I'm 33, that means I grew up in the 90s. Any other 90s babies in? Thank God, otherwise this was going to die on its arse. Top 3 things about the 90s for me: Beanie Babies, once for a kid lose a tooth over a Beanie Baby exchange, fucking obviously the Spice Girls, like they're obviously ingrained in my brain. I was also a big fan of the fact that my brain hadn't like grown to the point that I was aware of like the horrors of life, so I was just like obliviously going through it. It was lovely. So, did you know that in the 90s it was totally legal for Jerry Halliwell to scream girl power in any child's face that she saw fit? She'd just like appear out the bushes in like a Union Jack dress. These days you think she was probably like on her way to some sort of rally, but we didn't have like safeguarding back then, just like passive aggressive feminism in platform boots. So that was good. The 90s said to us girls, like, girls, you can do anything, you can achieve your dreams. And then the 2000s came along and said, yeah, but have you considered doing it with a flatter stomach and bigger tits? That would be great. Back then we had like Heat magazine. Who remembers Heat magazine? Yeah. They had a thing where they would get like objectively the most beautiful woman you've ever seen on their front cover, and they'd circle like the smallest imperfection. They'd just look at her and go like, look at the fucking state of her. And I'd kind of be at home like, what chance do I have? Like, my mum cuts my hair and I've got acne. Like, if Scarlett Johansson's like a disaster, I am just like fucking Pompeii in human form. Like, it's just not going to go well for me. What am I doing? Oh yeah, there we go. I felt like the early 2000s was like a government experiment to see how easily you could give teenage girls like confidence issues. And it turns out like it's really fucking easy. All you've got to do is invent Photoshop and introduce low-rise jeans to the nation. So yeah, they managed that. At the age of 33, I've realised I've lived through a lot of like quite important events. Obviously we've had things like 9/11, the invasion of Iraq. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting as much support for 9/11 as I got. So yeah, big fans of 9/11 in the audience tonight. Love that. So yeah, 9/11, the invasion of Iraq. The release of the Twilight movies was a big one. The financial crisis obviously the pandemic, we've all been through that. And I've been trying to think, like, was there ever an event that happened to my generation that instantly changed the way that we lived our lives? And I think I found it. And so, if you were around back then, I want to take you back to January 2007. I was 14, desperately in love with my secondary school drama teacher, convinced one day he would realise I was the girl for him. To his credit, he never did. The ones you want to be a bit pervy never are they? Never are. My maths teacher, Mr. Thompson, used to like aggressively stare at me whilst eating a banana, and I was not interested in it. So, the event that happened to me happened in January 2007, and some of you may have experienced this, but without warning, Channel 4 decided to unleash onto the nation the trailer for Series 1 of Skins. Yes! Does anyone here remember the trailer for Series 1 of Skins? You're like 9/11, you like Skins. That trailer happened, and overnight, the people I went to school with went fucking feral. The weekend before that trailer, I'd had a very lovely sleepover. We had popcorn, we watched The Princess Bride. Gorgeous. The weekend after that, I was chain smoking in a field. Off my head, I'd lost a shoe, I didn't know where I was. It sent this nation's teenagers into an utter meltdown. And even now, does anyone remember, you remember it, do you remember the song that was in the trailer for the Series 1 of Skins? It was Standing in the Way of Control by the Gospel. Yeah. If I am out somewhere now and that song comes on, I am like a fucking Russian sleep agent. Something like goes in my brain, but instead of assassinating like a high-ranking political figure, I black out, wake up 3 days later at a house party in Bristol, just getting off with some guy in eyeliner called Thorn. He's telling me about his 12-hour contract at Holland and Barrett, about how he's like doing something creative on the side. Like, I don't know, I just got to find my way home. Sorry, I'm absolutely lost. There we go. I'm really sorry, the 9/11 thing threw me off. Like, I just and I feel like as a millennial, we all think that we're in our own kind of like Channel 4 like gritty drama. We all think we're really deep and creative, like no one really understands us, but really we're all just like a little bit fucking pathetic. I was trying to think like what's the most pathetic thing that's ever happened to me? And there's been quite a few incidents. One I won't go into, but it did end in me having to watch myself doing the Napoleon Dynamite canned heart dance with 2 police officers on CCTV. That was a low point. But the most pathetic incident I think that's ever happened to me is when I turned 30, I thought, I'm going to get really fit and I'm going to like go out running. I could be a running girl. I've got fucking trousers, like, you know what I mean? I could do it. So I got up one morning at like 6 a.m. and I just went full pelt out running, didn't stop, eventually had to stop because I thought I was going to vomit. I didn't vomit, which is good news. The bad news is I just fully pissed my pants in the street. And that kind of happens to you and you're like, this is a low point, isn't it? Like, this isn't good. And then I looked up and made eye contact with a milkman who had just witnessed the whole thing. He's just trying to go about his job and witnessing unimaginable horrors. If I like close my eyes, it's kind of like my Vietnam, like I still see his face, just like the absolute horror of it. If I go down the milk aisle in Tesco, I have like PTSD, like I'm back there, like just that man staring at me as I'm just actively pissing myself. But yeah, that's been me. Girl power, I guess. I'll try not to next time.